Today we're going to show you how to assemble and mount the Tusk Panniers onto a set of Tusk Pannier racks. We're using our WR250R to demonstrate in this video, but these steps will be the same for mounting these boxes onto any of the Tusk Pannier racks for any of the bikes. We also have install videos for each set of Tusk Pannier racks, so be sure and check those out if you haven't already. So to begin, you can see we've already got these panniers unboxed. We're going to remove the instructions and all the hardware from inside the panniers. You'll want to make sure that you received all the parts and hardware, and you can refer to the complete hardware list located on your provided set of instructions. The other instruction sheet that you should receive with your panniers covers checking all the hardware that already comes assembled or installed on the boxes. We highly recommend using a thread locker on these and all your other pannier box hardware as well. To begin assembly, we're going to start by attaching one of the Tusk latch plates to the box, and we'll use two of the provided bolts and slide them through both of those bottom mounting holes, and then a flat washer and acorn nut will go onto the back side. After that, we need to unlock one of the latches, and then we can install that onto the latch plate that we just installed, and we'll attach that using four of the provided bolts. We'll slide those through the latch plate and through the box, and then just one of the acorn nuts will go onto the back side of each one of those bolts. After you've got an acorn nut threaded onto each one of those bolts, we can now go back through and tighten all this hardware down. After we've got everything tight on this side, we're going to move to the other side of the box and use those same steps to install the other latch. Just going to assemble it the same way and then tighten everything down, and after that we can set this pannier box aside for now, and we'll move over to the other pannier box and install the latches using the same steps. After we've got all four latches installed and all the hardware tightened down, we're now ready to move over the bike. So we're going to first install the mounting rings into both the left and the right pannier rack. After that, we're going to hold one of the boxes up and determine the best location for it to sit on the bike. This location is going to be specific and might be slightly different for each bike and each rider's needs. Also remember that if you ever plan on carrying a passenger, make sure to leave enough room in the front for the passenger pegs. And once we have the pannier positioned exactly where we want it on the bike, we'll have a buddy hold that box in place while we move to the back and mark the 7 mounting hole locations onto the back side of the pannier. Next, we'll take that box over to our workbench and use a center punch to mark one of the upper corner mounting holes. And after we've done that, we'll take an 11/32 drill bit to drill out that hole. Now we're going to remove the mounting ring from the rack and sit it into place on the pannier, and then we'll install one of the provided 8x20mm bolts in through that hole and make sure the rest of the marks are still lined up. If they are, we'll go ahead and mark the opposite corner mounting hole and use that same drill bit to drill out that hole. And then we're going to temporarily install another bolt to hold the bracket in place while we drill the other 5 mounting holes. After we get all the bracket mounting holes drilled, we're going to go ahead and remove the bolts in the bracket, and then we're going to sit these boxes back to back and use this box as a template to mark the mounting holes from one box to the other. After you get those marked, you'll want to position the other side's mounting ring onto this box and make sure that all the marks line up perfectly with the mounting holes in the bracket. If they do, we're just going to use the same process that we did on the first box to drill the 7 mounting holes for this box. After we get all those holes drilled, we're ready to start assembling everything. Since we're installing these Tusk Panniers onto a set of Tusk Pannier racks, we're going to place one of the provided flat washers over all 7 of those mounting holes, and then we'll position the mounting ring over those washers. We provide these washers to help adjust the pannier fitment and latch alignment with the variety of panniers and boxes that can be mounted onto these racks. Some boxes are going to require washers and others might not, and this is all explained in the adjustment part of your rack instructions. We found that when you're installing stiff aluminum panniers like these Tusk ones, it's best to use washers to space out the mount ring from the box. So next we're going to install 3 of the shorter 8x20mm bolts through the top 3 mounting holes from the outside. The internal box support will then slide onto these 3 bolts, and again we highly recommend applying a medium strength thread locker before threading on a provided nut onto each one of these bolts. After that, we'll take 4 of the longer 8x25mm bolts and we'll slide each one of those through a flat washer and then through the 4 bottom mounting holes from the inside of the box. Once we slide each one of those through, we'll just thread a nut onto the outside of those. After we get all that hardware installed, we can go back through and tighten all of this down. When all that hardware is tight, we're ready to check fitment with the rack. So we're going to install the box onto the rack and make sure the pin lines up and engages all the way. If either box needs adjusted, refer back to the adjustment part of your instructions. After you have both panniers properly fitted onto the racks, we're now ready to install the optional security knobs. These make it so you can lock the box to the racks and with your lid latches locked, prevent the boxes from being removed from the bike. To install these, we're going to thread in the provided 8x30mm marking bolt into the security knob hole, and then we'll install the pannier onto the rack. Push the pannier down to make sure it's sitting correctly in place, and then we'll use a mallet or a hammer to tap the box in the location of the marking bolt. Doing this is going to mark the location that we need onto the back side of the box. Next, we can mark the center of that and use a 3/8 inch drill bit to drill out that hole. Now we'll just reinstall the box back onto the rack and thread the security knob into place. And then we can move over and repeat those steps for the other side. After that, we can reinstall the lids onto the panniers and we're done with the install and ready for our next adventure. Remember that we also offer carrying handles and pannier liners to make carrying your boxes easier and help keep your gear organized inside. RockyMountainATVMC.com is the leader for all your dual sport and adventure parts, apparel, and accessories. Thanks for watching.